Just start Mr. Lumpkin,
Yes.
Mrs. Currington.
Yes.
Mrs. Cherry.
Yes.
And Mrs. Simmons.
Yes. We can stand for the pledge of allegiance. Mr. Lumpkin, would you be so kind and read the mission statement?
The mission of Trotwood-Madison City Schools is to graduate all students prepared to excel in a global society with a commitment to lifelong learning by guaranteeing a challenging curriculum facilitated by an innovative and dedicated staff, community participation, and state-of-the-art resources in a stimulating atmosphere.
Thank you. We need a motion to adopt the agenda. Do we have any changes?
No, there are no changes to the agenda.
Motion that we adopt agenda. Second. We have a motion made second. Am I coming a little fast?
No, I'm having a computer glitch. I'm
Okay.
sorry. It's just one moment. I'm just going to write it down. Okay, Mrs. Currington,
Yes.
Mrs. Cherry.
Yes.
Mr. Lumpkin.
Yes.
Mrs. Simmons.
Yes. Okay. We can move on to the election of officers. And we will open up for nominations for the office of president. Cherry nominating herself.
Are there any other nominations?
Are there any other nominations?
No.
No.
Okay.
No. Okay, so do we take a vote now?
Yeah.
Okay.
So we have one nominee, Mrs. Cherry,
Mhm.
for president. So you're asking for a vote for Mrs. Cherry for president?
Yes, can I get a vote? Yes.
A nomination for-
Nomination. Mhm.
Is someone going to nominate? I'm sorry, I apologize. Do you want me to call the roll?
Yes,
I'm
yes, yes,
sorry.
yes.
We'll get through it.
Yes.
All right.
Yes.
Mrs. Cherry,
Yes.
Mrs. Currington.
Yes.
Mr. Lumpkin.
Yes.
Mrs. Simmons.
Yes. Yes, at this time, do the oath for the president?
Sure.
Congratulations, Mr. Chair.
You can do either way. Whatever you want.
Okay. All right. At this time, we'll open it up for nominations for the vice president of the Board of Education. Any other nominations for vice president? Okay, we'll call the roll, Ms. Adams.
Okay. Mrs. Cherry,
Yes.
Mrs. Currington.
Yes.
Mr. Lumpkin.
Yes.
Mrs. Simmons.
Yes.
You ready?
Sure.
Mrs. Adams, before we move on to organizational business, I've asked Ms. Cherry if we could go through business items individually and then approve them via consent agenda.
Yes, okay,
Okay. And she agreed with that, so.
okay.
So don't we have to stop the
So you, President?
Yeah, yeah.
Back at
Do
you.
we have to suspend the organizational meeting to do that?
No, all of this goes through the business, the organization, and this is all part of that process, the organization.
So the organizational meeting is, this is, what you're doing is in the organizational?
Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
the item
All of the items.
from the organizational, okay,
Yeah,
not
from the
from the regular.
organizational agenda.
She
Okay.
just can take back over now.
Yeah. Okay, so
We're
we're
on
under
number 3.
number 4, excuse me, number 3,
3.
Mrs. Simmons is right. Organizational business, and you've got A through F, and all of those need to be voted on this evening. Would you like for me to read them? or-
Yes.
Okay, all right. Item A is the establishment of dates and times and locations for the meetings for school year 26-27. The attachment is included for those dates, and prior to the meeting, we had that conversation, with regards to those dates. B is the establishment of the service fund for the Board of Education in the amount of $20,000. That is the, annual amount allotted for the board members each year, for the board each year, excuse me. C is adopt the standing authorizations for the 26 calendar, and those standing authorizations are attached as well. And I'll pull that one up, it's in the email. Authorizations of the investment funds, payment of bills, employment of personnel, resignation of personnel, appointment of purchasing agent, and authorization of the superintendent, treasurer, and director of operations, which is vacant, to enter into contracts according to appropriations. So 1 through 5, in essence, give myself and Jill the authorization of the board to proceed with all of those duties that are outlined. Any questions on that one? Okay. D, renew membership to the Ohio School Boards Association Legal Assistance Fund for the period of January 1st, 2026 through December 31st, 2026. In accordance with that attachment, the OSBA Legal Assistance Fund is the amount of $250. And F, renew membership to the National School Boards Association for the period of January 1st, 2026 through December 31st, 2026. So A through F, I am asking for consent approval for those items this evening.
I do have one question, just, number A, and the letter A, established dates. So there's 2 meetings in July,
Okay, let me take a look at that.
and in the past, we have only had 1 meeting in July.
So on this one, I only have one meeting in July, the 16th,
Oh, the 16th, okay.
2026, yeah.
So I need a motion for the organizational business as Mr. Howard read A through F.
I motion.
I second. Ms. Adams, would you call the roll?
Yes, Mr. Lumpkin?
Yes.
Mrs. Currington?
Yes.
Mrs. Simmons?
Yes.
Mrs. Cherry?
Yes.
You want me to continue, or you got it? Okay. So the next is the appointment of the board committee and liaison memberships or members. A is City of Trotwood liaison. I guess in the past, there's been two board members part of that committee. So,
So we need to,
it says two. You don't have to do two, but it does say two.
so are we doing one or are we doing two? One.
We need to do two in case someone
Right.
can't, that's the reason why it's two.
I'll nominate myself.
And I'll nominate myself.
So Mrs. Carrington and Mrs. Simmons.
Mhm.
All right. B, District Leadership Team, DLT. The DLT meets the last Friday of the month from 8 to 11, 8 to 11:30.
Go back on
Yeah,
it.
we'll
back
go
on
back
it.
on it.
Okay.
Yeah.
So Mr. Lumpkin and Mrs. Carrington. C, District Finance Committee. There are two representatives identified here for the Finance Committee.
I'll stay.
And I'm gonna stay.
Okay.
Do you wanna do it?
I cannot. As much as I'd love to.
D, Miami Valley CTC Board of Education. I think in the past, there has been one board member that represents. Ms. Cherry would like to stay, Ms. Adams? E, National Alliance of Black School Educators, NABSC. I don't quite know what that
Says
individual does, or,
Meets once a month, second Tuesday at 7 p.m. and there's work sessions normally at the last Saturday.
That's a conflict for me, because it's
okay.
I'll do it. That's fine.
All right. Mr. Lumpkin?
Okay.
Ms. Adams? National School Boards Association Liaison. NSBA. Ms. Cherry. NSBA Ohio Black Caucus. Representative from that organization.
No, you. What was that
What do you
before?
have to do?
Who's on it before?
Remember.
You will have one more person.
Yes, yes,
Yeah,
yes.
that's
We'll leave it, yeah,
Yeah,
we'll
save
leave it,
something for
yes.
us.
Okay.
Great
save-
suggestion,
Save
Jim.
something for that person.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, H, Ohio School Boards Association Legislative Liaison.
No, I wanna do that.
Okay, Ms. Carrington says she would like to do that.
Okay.
OSBA Student Achievement Leadership Team.
That was all right.
Okay, Ms. Cherry. OSBA Urban School District Advisory Network,
I'll do that one.
Mrs. Simmons. Policy Committee. In the past, we've had two representatives in the event. One could not attend. Policy meetings are usually twice a year.
Here,
Um,
this is the board.
It, we did Zoom.
Yeah,
It was
usually
on
Zoom.
So I know, I was on it in, passport number.
So we could save one of those for the passport.
Okay.
Yeah.
And they're usually twice a year, but
You wanna
sometimes
stay
they're
on?
more. You wanna stay
No,
on?
if somebody else wanna do it, and,
No, I'm saying you
and a
want
new
to?
person, no, if somebody else wanna do it, and then. No, we're not saying we want to do it. So you're gonna stay on it, on the new? No, I don't want to stay on.
Oh,
So that's what I'm
okay.
saying, if somebody else wanna do it, and the new board member. It's just, it was just two Zoom meetings,
Oh, okay.
about 3 hours apiece.
They can get long.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Is it in the morning?
Yes.
It normally is.
Yes, sir.
if nobody's gonna be able to do it, I can do it. But I just thought somebody else might wanna at least see how the policy meetings go, 'cause
And-
it's different.
And if you can't attend, usually Jill and I are there as well. Yeah.
Okay, and if you can't make it, just let me know. And it's normally about 3 hours. It's just twice a year.
So, Mrs. Cherry and appointee. Trotwood CIC, usually there's one representative from the CIC.
I'm gonna stay on.
Mr. Lumpkin.
I'm on both. I'm on the next one too.
Trotwood-Madison Educational Foundation, usually there's one representative.
I'm on that too.
Mr. Lumpkin. Trotwood-Madison Parent Engagement Liaison.
I would do that.
Okay, Ms. Simmons. And Community Engagement Liaison. Mr. Lumpkin.
How many people are on that one?
It doesn't say. Would
You
you,
wanna be community?
if you wanna add another one?
No, I was gonna suggest Clinton.
I would say leave something for the new board member. That's the one thing to come on and it's nothing for you to pick up. I just,
They can always tag us when we can't make it.
That was three things that I was on
last year. You stayed on your same thing.
We good? Okay, President, you can adjourn whenever you're ready.
Organizational meeting, adjourned.
Do you need a motion to adjourn?
And, oh, motion to adjourn, I'm so sorry. I need a motion to adjourn.
A motion.
I second.
It's a little bit second.
Mrs. Simmons?
Yes.
Mrs. Currington?
Yes.
Mr. Lumpkin?
Yes.
Mrs. Cherry?
Yes. Meeting adjourned.
I would.
Good evening and welcome to the Trotwood-Madison, the first meeting of January 2026. This meeting is a meeting of the Board of Education and Public for the purpose of conducting the school district business and is not to be considered a public community meeting. Ms. Adams, would you call the roll?
Yes. Mrs. Cherry?
Yes.
Mrs. Currington?
Yes.
Mr. Lumpkin?
Yes.
Mrs. Simmons?
Yes.
Can we stand for the pledge?
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
And can you read our mission statement?
The mission of Trotwood-Madison City Schools is to graduate all students prepared to excel in a global society with a commitment to lifelong learning by guaranteeing a challenging curriculum facilitated by an innovative and dedicated staff, community participation, and state-of-the-art resources in a stimulating atmosphere.
Thank you. Next, I need a motion to adopt the agenda. Are there any changes to the agenda?
No, I do not have any changes this evening.
I move.
A second.
Ms. Jewell, been moved and second. Will you call the roll, please?
Yes. Mr. Lumpkin?
Yes.
Mrs. Simmons?
Yes.
Mrs. Currington?
Yes.
Mrs. Cherry?
Yes. Next, number 2, presentations. School Board Appreciation.
All right. The first presentation this evening is a very important and nominal effort, recognizing of the effort of our school board members. January is identified as School Board Appreciation Month, a nationwide observance to honor the underpaid, dedicated leaders who govern local school districts, setting policies, overseeing budgets, and ensuring students have tools for success. So, with that being said, on behalf of the Trotwood-Madison City Schools Administration and staff, and the Ohio Department of Education and Workforce, at each of your desks, you have a certificate recognizing you as board members for the Trotwood-Madison City Schools. We also have one for Mrs. Kilgore sitting at the open desk And what I ask is that upon the adjournment of this meeting, if we could all take a quick picture with your certificates, and we can get that information and that picture posted on social media. Information regarding recognizing School Board Month, School Board Association Month, School Board Appreciation Month, and with your certificates, and we can get that posted on social media. You are appreciated.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right. That concludes. And let's not sneak out before we take the picture.
Next, item number 3 is board report. A is the CTC report. I just wanted to give an update. Currently updated, we have 50 sophomores, 50 applications for sophomores. We have 1 10th grade student, 61 11th grade students, and we have 50 seniors that are enrolled at Miami Valley CTC. The graduation process, the traditional pathway, we have 37 students. Career readiness pathway, we have 4 students, and currently 9 that are not ready. We do have some current graduation notes. 40 met the algebra competency score, 44 met the English 2 competency score, and we have 6 earned a state license. And we also have 80 industrial that earned to date, 19 earned in 12 points. 30 earned the Ohio Means Job Readiness Seal. 4 earned the College Readiness Seal. 38 earned the Citizenship Readiness Seal, and 37 earned the Science Readiness Seal. This is just an update that I requested from Miami Valley CTC. Does anyone have any questions?
So there is a total of how many students?
111
111.
and 50 applicants.
Okay. Thank you, Ms. Chair.
Next, item B, board vacancy.
Sure. So we do have 30 days from when our vacancy occurred, which is at the beginning of the month, to fill that position. And so I sent Mrs. Cherry a media release that we can send out tomorrow morning, would really be ideal. I proposed as a timeline, and we can discuss that now, that we give 1 week from when we send it out for applications and resumes to be returned, which would put those with a due date of Friday the 15th, and then, Friday the 16th. And then if everyone is available the following Tuesday, we could do interviews that evening, Wednesday if needed, and then by that next Thursday board meeting, we would be able to welcome that new board member and meet the 30-day. If the dates don't work, we can adjust that, but that was just an initial proposal from me. So if we can work the dates out tonight, we can send that out in the morning.
So,
We just need to think
Can you
about
repeat
the
those
time.
dates again?
Yes, and so the date for the materials to be returned to me for people who are interested in applying would be Friday, January 16th, they would be due. And then the interviews would be, Monday is a holiday, so Tuesday, let me look at the date.
Okay. Tuesday, Wednesday, that would the 20th, so 120?
Yes, 120
And 121?
and 121 if needed.
Okay.
Mhm. And then I just wasn't sure what time would work for everybody that evening. We could put that in or we can schedule them, at the time. We don't have to pick the interview time yet, but we could do them those days.
Same time as the meeting starts, what about 5:30?
on the 20th, I can do that, because I'll be coming back from Maryland. Well, yes, I can. Yeah, let's get it done.
Okay.
I'm fine.
giving those 2 evenings too would give any of the if they needed a little flexibility on the night, we could do that, so.
I can do both days.
5:30.
5:30, okay.
5:30.
Okay. So I will get that sent out in the morning, and it typically goes to the community and then news outlets too to advertise the position.
Are there any other questions or comments in reference to the board vacancy?
So is the plan to finish all of the interviews on the 20th, though?
If we can. We don't have an overwhelming response.
Well, I mean, we don't know what the sponsor's gonna be yet, obviously.
Right.
but- Okay.
So when will you be doing it?
Tuesday, 20th. When we get the interview done,
Review.
Review the applicants?
she's getting them on the 15th. I guess you can send them.
I
by-
can send you kind of a package.
Yeah.
I'll send you those for your review over the weekend before the
Okay.
Tuesday. Mhm.
Then we can decide who we can do. Okay. Not the rest.
Any other comments in reference to the board vacancy? Ms. Benjamin? Item number 4, treasurer's report.
You have in your folder tonight a draft of the minutes from December 4th's work session, December 11th special meeting, and December 18th's regular board meeting. And those are just for your review, and we will vote on those at the next meeting. And that is all I have for you tonight.
Number 5, superintendent's report.
Thank you. I have 2 items for the board this evening, one for information and the other for action. The first, item A under superintendent's report, is the harassment, intimidation, and bullying report for the first semester 25-26. If you click on that attachment, or if it is in your folder, the Ohio Revised Code requires the Board of Education to report the number of harassment, intimidation, and bullying incidents in its schools on a semi-annual basis. Harassment, intimidation, and bullying is defined as the intentional act committed by one or more students against another student. The student engages in the behavior more than once, often repeatedly. It is one-sided and is marked by an imbalance of power between a bully and the victim. It is different from teasing in normal childhood conflicts. It causes mental or physical harm, and it is sufficiently severe, persistent, or pervasive that creates an intimidating, threatening, or abusive environment. Harassment, intimidation, and bullying incidents include violence in a dating relationship and may be electronic, verbal, written, or physical. As of December 18th, 2025, there is the matrix of those incidents that were reported. There were a total of 3 verbal bullying cases reported and 1 physical bullying cases reported, for a district total of 4. Discipline consequences were assigned. The following bullets: Friday school or Saturday school, in-school suspension, out-of-school suspension, or expulsion based upon the severity of the offense. And as indicated in the chart above, there were 4 harassment, intimidation, and bullying incidents during the first semester of 25-26. So we are required to give this report to the board on a semi-annual basis, and I am presenting it to you this evening. It is just for information.
How many suspensions did you say, Mr. Howard?
4 incidents, but it does not identify
Okay.
what the consequence was for those incidents. I'd have to get a little more information,
that's
yeah,
fine.
with regards to that. Okay, good.
Identify it as the same student.
Okay, I can follow up on that. All right. B, I bring this evening the personnel agenda, 1/8/2026. I did send this last week as well, very short agenda. A couple of resignations via the ELC, the middle school, and the ELC again, excuse me, for paraprofessionals, and one appointment of a custodian. And those are the only items that I'm asking for approval this evening on the personnel agenda.
Well, hopefully everyone has had the opportunity to review the personnel agenda via email from Mr. Howard. Are there any questions for the personnel agenda? No questions? I need a motion.
On motion.
Second.
Ms. King, the second. Ms. Adams, would you call the roll?
Yes, Mrs. Simmons?
Yes.
Mrs. Currington?
Yes.
Mr. Lumpkin?
Yes.
Mrs. Cherry?
Yes, motion passes for the personnel agenda. Item number 6 is discussion items.
Okay, I do have some items and information that was requested from me this evening. Item A is a summary of House Bill 96 with specific interest in the AI policy. All Ohio districts all Ohio school districts, excuse me, have to develop and implement, and the board has to adopt an AI policy by July 1st, 2026. We are in the process of working on our policy, and prior to us bringing it to the board for adoption, I did want to give the board just a template of what we've been working on. So in your packet, identified as document A, you will see a template or model of an AI policy that we are working on. This is being worked on by Eric Brenner and Dayton Cincinnati Technology. We also have the former, I can't remember what his position was. He was the former Dean of Technology at Sinclair Community College. He's working with Mr. Brenner as well. And we are doing our due diligence to try to identify anything and everything we can that is AI to this point. Because as we formulate this and implement it, something else will probably be changing or something will change. But I wanted to share this policy with you guys to show you that we are in accordance to the legislation, and probably March or April we'll bring the policy once we finalize it, vet it through ODEW, and we'll bring it to the board for approval. But it has a purpose statement. It defines AI, literacy. It talks about stakeholder engagement, privacy, evaluation of AI tools, and then the big one, of course, is academic integrity and acceptable use. You know, that would be relative to our kids, to our students, staff as well, with regards to, you know, what are the expectations for educators, students, staff, third party when utilizing AI. So I've given you that copy for you to review, and if you have any questions, you can let me know. Any questions? All right.
I do have a question, actually.
Yes, sir.
The AI policy that we're implementing, in the definitions, does it talk about how it's gonna tie to our student handbook and appropriate uses of AI technology by students?
In the acceptable use policy, it does tie into our board policy within our student handbook. So the acceptable use policy that we currently have in our district policy, this AI information will be loaded into board policy. But if you look at like the second paragraph, and again, this is just a draft through a template that we've gotten from the state of Ohio. Expectations for acceptable student usage should be clearly articulated by educators in alignment with policy, guided by specific requirements for an assignment or activity. This includes specifying AI use expectation in course syllabi and assignment instructions when relevant. These expectations should clearly articulate the expectations of uses, types of relevant assignments where AI use is acceptable, and required format for references. So as we move through this acceptable use and continue to refine this, our goal will be to clearly define what is and what is not acceptable use for AI. And then you jump into academic integrity. It talks about what that looks like as well. I don't know if that answered your question, but.
No, it does.
Okay. Okay. More questions?
I think that's it.
Okay. Okay. Next item under discussion items is B. Am I good, Ms. Jean, go? Okay. So, B is inquiry regarding, the Black Rodeo. If you guys checked your email, you've probably seen 3 or 4 different emails from this Northern Southern Hospitality Entertainment Group that is, soliciting the campus for bringing a rodeo to the campus, to the district, for the city, for, engagement, and even outside of the city, for the county, really, prospectively. And they are shooting for a date for June 20th, 2026. What I've included is, in your packet, labeled B, document B, is their letter of interest. And you may have seen this already too, because they've included you guys on just about everything that they've sent. Letter of interest, a schedule of another rodeo that this one is similar to, and also some of the details that they have shared with us when it comes to what they will need, what they would like to see, what the setup would be. So today, myself and Ms. Rogers met with our insurance provider, our liability provider, and initially they have some major concerns about the rodeo being on the campus of a school district. They said, the individuals we work with said they work with, these type of organizations all the time, because they do have to have liability insurance when they go to different places. And the rep said that they've never had one on a school district before, so it was kind of uncommon to them. One thing that was kind of prominent in the conversation was the field turf. If you intend to have a rodeo on field turf, how is the company going to proceed with getting dirt on the field turf, protecting the track, protecting the turf, protecting all of those things that they would actually need. And there was some voidable items in our policy that would prevent us from having this in sense anyway. One would be domesticated, there's a certain point of domesticated animals that are allowed on the site. There was another there was another conversation that we had about the carnival rides and the amusement type rides. They would not cover us on any of those. They would require the company who wants to bring the rodeo and the owners of the rides to have their own insurance policies. The track, I said that, the track and the field turf, all of that. The stands, they were concerned about, about that. So with all that being said, through this conversation, they are going to provide a letter of, they as in Liberty Mutual, who is our insurance provider, they are going to provide a letter of suggestion from the underwriter that gives us all of the information that we discussed today and make a recommendation to us that we do not entertain this. And one of the recommendations that the rep had from Liberty Mutual today was that, do you guys have fairgrounds, or do you have a large open space for? And I told him we did have fairgrounds, a county fairgrounds, and I can make that suggestion to to the company. But one of the things said, Mr. Howard, just think. One of the ladies said, just think. And this is the worst case scenario. Say, for instance, an animal got loose and kicked the kid or something like that. Yeah, they may sue them, but they're going to sue you too. The conversation was very direct. Sure. And very clear. And I know this group is going to be, they're going to be disappointed, but sometimes I think people get so excited and so, amped up about.
Don't think about.
Yeah, about these types of things, and they just don't think about all of the
Things.
Yeah, all of the things that that come with it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to anticipate that letter. That I think she called it like a letter of suggestion, a letter of recommendation from Liberty Mutual, the underwriter, and it's going to identify every bullet point that they will not cover the district on. And then I'm going to share that. I'll share that with you guys in the email, and then go back to Southern Hospitality Entertainment and just let them know that the school district, the main campus, is just not the place for this.
Not the venue.
Yeah. Any questions on that? I think it's a great event. I think it's a great idea. I think it's a great event. I think it would bring, but I just don't. I don't think. Well, I didn't think initially, but now there's validation that having a full-fledged rodeo on your football stadium or on your main campus is just not a good idea.
Great.
Yeah, but she said that every vendor that comes will need their own liability policy. All of these rides, carnival rides, and she said they can have their own insurance policy, but if you have it on your campus, we're gonna require you to have it too. All right. So I'll follow up with Ms. Holloway tomorrow. All right. The next one was, let me pull my computer back. Next one was ACT. Mrs. Cherry did ask me if the district was sponsoring any ACT prep this year. I spoke with Mrs. Hay over at the high school, and this year specifically, no. I did include the email that she stated. Previously, the last couple of years, we worked with Mr. Larry Hodge for ACT prep. Students were charged for an individual basis, and on an individual basis, but I think, if I remember correctly, his cost had gotten up to like $12,000, regardless of if you had a kid, if you had one kid or student, or if you had 15 students. He charged a flat fee, and with where we are from a budget perspective, decided not to go that route this year. There have been other vendors, and all of those vendors, that information has been shared with students via their Google Mail, via Parent Square, if they wanted ACT. Now, we were at ACT host site this year, that we do it twice. We had one in the fall, and we have one in the spring. So we are hosting the ACT. But as far as ACT prep, no, we did not have ACT prep, or have not had it this year, as we have had the last couple of years.
Do we know if we have any seniors or juniors that have signed up to take the ACT or that have already taken it?
Yes, so every junior gets a voucher to take the ACT. So every junior has the opportunity to take the ACT for free. Our last ACT, when we hosted the ACT, which was about 3 weeks ago, I think we had 27 students, and of those 27, 17 may have been our students, because we're an open site, so we host it for anybody. And I'll get those numbers, I can verify those numbers. But, we did have a group of students that did take the
And of the
institute.
juniors.
There were some seniors too.
Okay.
All juniors get the voucher.
Okay.
Yeah, all juniors get the voucher to take it.
Are there any organizations that do that? There used to be some organizations that actually did play.
So there was one at Maranatha for years that did the SAT and ACT prep.
So what I can do is I can try to
Reach out.
reach out and see if there's still,
Let the counselors reach out. That-
yeah.
that should be
Well, I'll
their
reach out to
role.
them.
Yes.
Yeah, I'll reach out to them.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then there was one on Mount Don High School, there was a site over there that hosted.
It was free? Okay.
I mean, I think it would be beneficial if if every junior gets a voucher, that we could have something here and make sure that they are prepped and take it.
Absolutely. All right. And my computer signs me out after a few minutes, I'm talking too long. The last, item under discussion items is, just an update, as we said, we're always gonna do with regards to our fiscal alert status. With us coming back, from the holiday break, I did, as I've done them the last several months, share in my Monday morning message with staff that, we are continuing to evaluate, all of our spending, all of our finances. We are working through, finalizing what our reductions will look like. One thing I did do is, I provided the board with some information in your packet labeled item D. And these are three different articles from various news outlets across the state that talk about some of the things that are going on with regards to the reduction of allocations of money for school districts. And just some general data that I would like to share, because I want, people that are listening, I want our board to understand, I want anybody to understand that, what is happening in the state of Ohio, what is happening in Trotwood-Madison City Schools, it is just not specific to Trotwood-Madison City Schools. From some of the information that I've researched, Columbus City recently came out and had a meeting, I believe, earlier this week, where they were identified that they are going to have to make a reduction of, their deficit, make a reduction of $50 million. Toledo, 18 million, which equates to about 100 jobs, certified, classified, and administrative. And they are going to be proceeding with their reduction of force, I believe, in February. So they're gonna start laying staff members off in February. We all know Dayton came out and spoke to, their anticipated deficit for 28-29. Canton City Schools, deficit of 17 million, with a anticipated reduction of 50 staff members. 36 districts, and Jill and I have talked about this a little bit before. 36 districts were affected at the cost of $52.2 million with the reduction of the targeted assistance funds. Those 36 districts, over the next couple of years, like I said, $52.2 million. For Trotwood, I think it equated to almost $900,000 yearly that we lost. And then, all in all, the failure of the legislature to adhere to the Fair School Funding Plan, which is a reduction of $2.75 billion over the next 2 years for the lack of adhering to the Fair School Funding Plan. So while public districts, where 90% of the students in the state of Ohio attend, local public school districts lost $2.75 million. Charter schools got an increase of 11.3%.
Wow.
Vocational schools got an increase of 14.1%. And the Ed Choice vouchers got an increase of 15.8%, which equates to over $1 billion for the last 2 years. So as your local traditional public schools are at a point now where we are counting every penny, there still seems to be an increase in some of these other, these other school districts, school systems, school choices, school choice. And I think, as we all have had this conversation before and discussed with the Ed Choice, you're talking about an additional $1 billion that is being invested into Ed Choice. So with all that being said, one thing I did say to all the staff members, without being political, because this is not a political position, but it is a factual position, one thing I did say to them is that, when it comes time to make decisions on the local level, on the state level, you've got to really look at the facts. Sometimes ideology becomes the persuasive mindset, and it becomes the focal point. And while you're grounded in ideology, you forget about the factual information from the standpoint of, what is this individual's platform? What do they think about public education? What do they think about healthcare? What do they think about those a lot of those key things that that affect folks on a day-to-day basis? And all I said is just make sure you consider those, make sure you research those, because what's happening right now in the state of Ohio is that public education is at a tipping point. And we, like all of those other districts that I've identified and outlined, everybody is going to be affected eventually. Everybody's going to be affected eventually. And maybe if some of the more affluent suburban districts, not calling anybody's name, but maybe if they eventually start getting affected like the larger urban districts or the smaller mid-sized urban districts are, maybe if they start voicing their concern and their opinion a little bit more, maybe people will start listening, because it doesn't appear that they're listening to us. So, that's just my 2 cents, just some information with regards to that. Please take a moment when you have some time to kind of read through some of this information. The first article, which was a state article, my colleague Tony Thomas, the superintendent from Northmont, who was retiring, gives a really strong testimonial with regards to what the Fair School Funding Plan, not funding the Fair School Funding Plan, is doing to his district, which his district just passed a levy that generated an additional $3.5 million. But even with that, within 2 years, they're in deficit spending again, because the state legislature has chosen not to fund the Fair School Funding Plan. Right.
That's some good news.
And that is, I think that's all, Ms. Cherry, that you asked me to. Anything else? That's it.
Does anyone have any questions or comments? Thank you for sharing that information, factual information. Number 7, will you treasurer comment?
I would just like to say thank you to all the board members for your service last year, your continued service this year, and happy School Board Member Appreciation Month. Congratulations to President Cherry and Vice President Simmons. I had shared with Mr. Howard earlier today, and this is related to our reduction planning. You probably got the same notice in the mail from Montgomery County that your water bill is going up 5% starting in January. So just something that we need to keep in mind as we continue to work on our reduction plans, those things that we have to purchase that are part of our regular budget continue to rise as well. So just like it does in everybody's home, it does here too. And so just a reminder that that's something that we're going to have to continue to consider as we work through our plan. So, but back to happy news, congratulations, and thank you.
Okay, just a few comments for this evening. I piggyback off our treasurer. Congratulations to Ms. Cherry and Ms. Simmons, and also congratulations to Ms. Carrington and Ms. Cherry for your reelection. And the ceremony was really nice. That was really nice. A lot of community engagement. Mr. Lumpkin, you did an outstanding job as the MC, hosting the event.
Thank you.
In your folder, I do have a couple things, but I want to make sure first that I make reference to my superintendent's update for January. Those are some of the dates that I will be attending meetings or doing some work for the district in the month of January. And then, of course, as always, some of the events that are going on in the buildings, excuse me. ELC, Literacy Night, Madison Park STEM to Space, Family Bingo Night at Westbrook Village. Nothing major going on at the middle school. And then a couple robotics competition. If you've never got a chance to come to one of those robotics competitions, the junior ROTC host, it is as cool as cool gets when it comes to watching those kids manipulate those drones and those robots on those missions. So if you have a chance to stop by Saturday at 10, that would be something that you definitely enjoy. Just if you get a chance to stick your head in. The first thing in the paperclip in your packets, I got a few things I need to get some RSVP information with you guys from. First is the annual Business Advisory Council dinner. I know maybe a couple of you attended that last year. It is the ESC annual business dinner, and we have to have at least one board member there. So the date is the 26th of February, and it is from 5:30 until 8, roughly 8, at the Marriott. I have RSVP'd for at least one of our administrators and at least one or two board members, but I did not give them any names. So, at this time, I'd ask, do we know who any board members, which one of you guys will attend? Okay, so Ms. Carrington, you attending?
My work schedule will be there.
So Ms. Carrington and Ms. Simmons?
Yes.
And if one or all of you want to go, it's not an issue too. We just have to have at least one attend. Okay, so I RSVP'd for, I think, 5 people. So, and if I need to add somebody else, just let me know. And I will share that with Mrs. Cox down at the ESC. Right, so February 26th from 5:30 until 8.
Tentatively, I'll
Okay.
change it.
Oh, yeah, you'll be with your dad.
If I don't attend, Mrs. Murdoch will. That date right now, the 26th, we may be taking my daughter on a college visit. So if that stands, I'll have Ms. Murdoch attend. And Ms. Murdoch has attended the meeting before. Okay. Yeah. Okay. All right. So thank you for that one. The next two are just flyers from Westbrook Village and and Madison Park with regards to those events that are taking place in the building. anytime they have these events and they have flyers, I wanna make sure I share them with the board. So you got bingo night at Westbrook Village, and then you've got, the STEM Space event on the 16th. During the school day, Madison Park will participate in the STEM to Space event. Guests will present and lead STEM activities with our students. Event will take place during their special time. Students will go to the gym, and the special teachers will support the events unless they have planning time. So the presenter is Jessica Brueggen, who worked at NASA and the Air Force. She is currently an engineer at the Air Force Research Lab. And then family bingo night at Westbrook, games, prizes, funds, and concessions will be available for family bingo night at Westbrook. Okay? Next is the NSBA conference. Mrs. Potter has asked that I share this with the board to gauge interest of attendance to the conference this year. This year it is in San Antonio, Texas. So if you are interested in going collectively as a group, if you could let me or Ms. Potter know, and then we can start working on those accommodations and travel for the conference. The early bird savings ends June 16th, which is next week. So if you're interested in going, please. Oh, excuse me, January 16th. I'm sorry, I said June. And I don't know if you guys wanted to have any discussion about that now or just.
We can.
I don't think it's a good idea to go. And in a time where we're talking about cutting people and reducing force, why would we take on an expense to travel like that? I mean, I'm just giving you my thoughts. I mean,
And it doesn't have to be me, I'm just saying two that wanna go.
I'll say this, like, if other members want, I'm not going to attend that with what we have going on.
Okay.
So, I mean, if you guys, I'm not saying that, I can't speak for anybody else, but I just really feel like messaging is important, and that we have to be, if we're saying we're watching cost spending, we have to be intentional about, you know, how certain things appear to the community.
Absolutely.
When we're saying we're gonna be cutting force. So I'm not gonna attend.
Respected.
Okay. So you guys have a, think about it amongst yourselves and just let me know. And then I will get with Ms. Adams if there's a decision made. And the last item I have is a briefing from the Ohio Legislative Service Commission with regards to House Bill 114. House Bill 114 is the bill that has gone into effect that standardizes the age for entering kindergarten. So, and there are some pros and cons to this. You know, pros are, you know, by the time school starts, if you're 5, you're in kindergarten. You gotta be 5 years old by the time school starts. Some of the cons are, if you got that 4-year-old that's about to turn 5 and is ready for kindergarten, if they're not ready by the time school starts, then they can't attend. They gotta wait a whole year. Now, one thing that many organizations are saying with regards to this is that as a result of this, there's a possibility of up to 5,000 fewer students will enter kindergarten in 27 because of that date. You know, because there are 4-year-olds that are eligible, but they won't be able to go now because they'll turn 5. So
What is the cutoff date?
I think our cutoff date is September 30. Yeah, September 30. Yep. Is it September 30, Mr. Nadir? Yep, September 30. So, you know, this is something that we're all going to watch because, you know, from our standpoint, we stop letting kids in, then
Funding goes down.
yeah, the funding goes down.
Can we move our date?
I think the date
Can we,
is,
Nadir?
maybe Mr. Nadir may not know, but I think the date is what is
The state
established.
dictates,
Yeah,
the
in the
state
state,
dictate.
yeah. I think it's it says by the time school starts, and then September 30th is the date. So by the time school starts, and maybe that can be manipulated. Right, yeah.
Ready?
Okay.
Yeah, and and it talks about this, it talks about that in here as well, somewhere. But, I just thought it was interesting and something that, that I wanted to share with the board because, you know, once again, we have we have something that is likely going to affect us from the standpoint of funding. And, you know, when it comes to making some of those decisions, you know, there are a lot of other factors that continue to contribute to this. It does say, however, 4-year-olds may continue to enter kindergarten under certain conditions in continuing law. So, you know, we have to work our way through that. But the goal is to try to standardize 5 years old, by the time school starts, they can go. You know, and they're really trying to pull some of that autonomy from districts. And we've got to, you know, Mr. Nadir and his team will work through this to make sure that we are in accordance to the bill.
What do we have in place for accelerated students, 4-year-olds? I mean, is there some sort of testing
Yep.
that the curriculum department?
And they will, yeah, go ahead.
So do we send that information out to give parents a heads up that if you think your kid, is possibly ready, but they won't meet the age requirement, that there is an option for you to do this testing? Do they have that information, or is that something? Okay.
So now, we have to make sure that that process is in accordance to the law, because the law has a lot more detail in it as well as far as what that looks like.
Requirements they may need to prove.
But I do know we have had, you know, several parents over the past that have, you know, gone through this process. Mrs. Murdoch is not here because she could speak to this as well, because she was responsible for, her group was responsible for administrating the test. But she's not here because she just had a grandbaby.
Oh, nice,
Yeah,
congratulations.
Yeah, she just had a grandbaby, so she left out yesterday to take care of that. But other than that, that is really all I have. I've also included another copy of our strategic plan. It's in all of your documentation. And I included that again because I want to make sure that through all of this other stuff that we're going through, we have to make sure that we keep academics and keep student achievement in the forefront. I am going to really work hard to refocus myself and make sure that my staff, has some intentional focus, especially on the administrative level, to keep pushing. We know we have some tough decisions to make and some turbulent times coming up, but we got to keep student achievement in the forefront. So I'm going to make sure that we come back to our strategic plan, come back to our 3 goals, we stay focused, and work our way through what we've got to work our way through, but then continue to ensure that, we focus on 100% student success. So I wanted to add that to your packet this evening as we start head into the new year, and we just maintain our focus on what we're here for on a daily basis. Right, that's all I have.
Next on our agenda are board comments, starting with Mrs. Currington.
As always, I would like to say welcome back from the holiday season. I hope everybody had a great Christmas, a great New Year. I would like to also thank Ms. Adams and Mr. Howard for joining us last Friday evening. I really appreciate that. You guys didn't have to come out, but you did, and so I appreciate it, and I thank you for all the hard work that you do. I think this year is gonna be time to really roll up our sleeves and put our money where our mouth is as far as advocating for students when we look at what our state legislators are trying to do with public education. It's almost like they wanna defund public education. So we have to really heighten our awareness and be ready to fight at every turn to ensure that the students in our community have a voice. And also not only the students, but the staff, because we employ people and we depend on state funding. And it's just not fair what's happening. It's like we're trying to go backwards. So I'm gonna make sure that I do everything in my power to make sure that the people voice in Trotwood, in the community, is heard on a state level. So we may have to take a trip up to the State House and let them know, we may belittle old Trotwood, but we will not stand by and just watch you roll over public education. I have two daughters who attended Trotwood, received a public education, and went on to go to graduate and go on to college. So it tells me that there are good things happening with public education. And so we just have to fight to ensure that every kid has a right to an education, a free education. And that's all I had.
Ms. Sayre, Mr. Lumpkin?
Well, first, congratulations to President Cherry, Vice President Simmons, and to you, Luana, on you all's reelection. I think that Luana said a lot, and she said it all because the state of Ohio is trying to defund public schools, but we had to be really specific about how we describe what schools they're attacking and the students that are in those schools. We happen to be in a district that's 90% African American. When you look at the attacks on public schools and the schools that they're attacking the funding in, they're schools that have primarily kids that are of color. And the thing that I think, well, that I know, is that some of the other districts that are around us, some of you that are in rural communities, these things are going to impact you. Because it's not just a black or a white thing, it's a socioeconomic thing. And in a socioeconomic environment where our government has decided that funding voucher programs or taking money or food out of kids' mouths is more important to give corporations, billionaires, one's gonna run for governor in Ohio this year, the power over public money into private investments. If you think that those things don't impact you, look at how many people got kicked off of their health care just at the beginning of this month. And we'll tell you that a lot of those people don't look like the members of the Board of Education at Trotwood-Madison. We have to be very direct about what's happening to public education because it's a microcosm of what's happening to the have-nots all over this country. And those have-nots are not just people in districts like ours. So you have to really pay attention to what's going on. Here in Trotwood, I sat in a district leadership meeting just before the break started where we looked intimately at the data. And the one thing that everybody in the room was excited about is that the students in Trotwood-Madison City Schools are moving. The data suggests that they're getting better. And what you're telling us is that our education doesn't matter when you try to take funds and funnel it to other places. Ohio's a school choice state. It's a red school choice state. And at the end of the day, we have to be able to make sure that we have very loud voices. We have to know who the representatives are that are making the decisions, and we have to, at every turn, point out the decisions that they make in the legislature. And I know it sounds like we're preaching and everything like that, but the decisions that we make impact families that we all care about and impact students that we love and we want to see be able to thrive. And I do want to say Happy New Year to the students. It's the second half of the year. It seems like it's going by really fast. And just make sure that you're keeping the safety of your students first, and also make sure that they come to school. Chronic absenteeism. Never forget the stat that we were just below being a 3-star district as a whole because of 6 students. So it's very important that your student attends school every day and gets there on time.
Vice President Sims.
Those are 2 hard acts to follow, but I concur, Mrs. Currington and Mr. Lumpkin on everything that they have said. And as we have highlighted, in the earlier part of the board meeting, that there is an open seat, and we hope that we fill that seat with someone as much passion as the 4 of us have. So if you are a part of this community and you feel that you see what the attack that public schools are under, and you want to join us in this fight, because we definitely need that other person that's going to pull up their sleeves and work with us. Trotwood-Madison Band Boosters are having a fundraiser on January 17th from 3 to 8 at Muse Lounge. And I think we do, as Mr. Lumpkin always said, we have to be very intentional. So if you're going to spend some money that weekend, why not go? I think it's a line dancing party or something. They're trying to raise money to travel again. So let's be intentional with our funds and definitely support our students here in Trotwood. Again, welcome back staff and families from the holiday break. We are approaching the end of the year. It's going to come really quick, and I know health, flu, cold season is upon us, so let's wash our hands and wear masks and separate, because our immune systems are not as good as they were before, and let's keep attendance at a high, and let's concentrate on that. Thank you again, Mr. Howard and Jill, for being so responsible and on top of the fiscal situation. And we know as we get closer, we're going to be making some tough decisions. So we're here for you, for your support. Thank you.
Well, that's 3 tough, hard acts to follow, but I do concur with all of the board members. I do want to say congratulations to Mr. Simmons and Mrs. Currington. I will say that the swearing-in ceremony was all Mrs. Currington.
Wonderful.
I just said okay, but all of the planning and everything was through Mrs. Currington. She did a good job, and I appreciate it. Once again, public education is under attack, and I like what Mr. Lumpkin said. We have to be fiscally sound, and we have to be fiscally responsible, because all of our kids matter. All of our kids matter, and we're just it's a tough time right now, but we will get through this. We all matter, and we will get through this. I would like to read a thank you note. It says, a thank you. Whether you kept us in your hearts, your thoughts, and prayers, sent a lovely arrangement, gave a memorial donation, or helped out in any way, your love and kindness brought us great comfort and will always be remembered. And this is from the Ellison family. As Mr. Howard has shared with us, there are a lot of things that are going on in the district, and if your time permits, stop in, show your face, support as much as you possibly can. I wanted to say that I was at the Altar game, and congratulations to our boys team, but I was really more impressed at how the students conducted themselves. So I just wanted to say, just shout them out. I think that's all.
I do have one thing to add, if it's okay. You may see this evening or see on social media that there was and I shared this with Mrs. Cherry that there was a bus crash in the city of Trotwood. There was an accident where 13 kids were injured. I've gotten about 3 or 4 texts already asking me, about our kids and if they're okay. That was not one of our buses. It was in the city of Trotwood, but it was up Castano on Denlinger, which is the city of Trotwood, but it is not. It is not our district. So it was a first student bus, and it was not our kids. But there were 26 kids on the bus, and 13 were identified as injured. So when you see that this evening, or if somebody asks about you, you can respond. You can respond accordingly. The news has requested information. I was just checking my email. I have 3 requests for information for statements with regards from all of the 3 news outlets, and I just simply responded here a second ago that that was not, that was not our school district. That was not one of our buses. Direct your questions to whomever that. I'm not even gonna say the district's name. I said to whomever that district is.
Figure it out.
Yep.
Thank you for
Prayers
sharing
to
that.
those families and students.
Now, this brings us to executive session. Need a motion to enter into executive session to consider the appointment, employment, dismissal, discipline, promotion, demotion, or compensation of a public employee or official, or the investigation of charges or complaints against a public official, public employee official, licensing or regulated individual per BOE policy 10166 and ORC 12122 G1 action, excuse me, may be taken.
On motion.
Yes, Mrs. Simmons?
Yes.
Mrs. Currington?
Yes.
Mr. Lumpkin?
Yes.
Mrs. Cherry?
Yes. Motion passes. We will enter into executive session at 6:42.
Yes, sir. Trying to watch this game. I don't have it.
It's just like the Monica concert.
Oh, let's take your picture real quick.
Oh. We'll take it back there. I guess.